The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome to today's role play webinar with your host, James McDonald.
Well, thank you very much, Andrea. And I'd like to start by welcoming our participants to our role play session here today. And I want to thank everybody for joining us. I hope you volunteer to do some role playing. I have Mr. Rick Brash with me on the webinar here today. Rick, thanks so much for joining us again.
Well, hey, James, great to be here. The purpose of the Role Play Clinic is to give you a good working knowledge, a good working experience with the universal callback script. So we're going to make it as real as we can.
Yes, that's it. But having said that, it's kind of interesting. From time to time, particularly with our new students, they'll say, well, how do you handle it if somebody's being, if they just won't cooperate and they just want to, you got to remember the whole basis of Craig's system is about choice. The whole basis is if you generate more leads than you're ever going to actually physically be able to work with, it means you have the luxury of choice. So if somebody's over the top difficult, I'm not saying, the normal, common objections mean that you should hang up the phone and run away. But I'm saying that in those extreme instances where somebody is overly difficult, somebody's never going to represent the kind of client that you'd like to work with. Understand that because you generate choice every day, you have the luxury of being able to decline business that you do not want. So you have the luxury of being able to identify this person that I'm on the phone with is so difficult that thank God that there are others behind them that I'm going to follow up with, because I don't have to reduce myself to working with somebody that makes me feel very unhappy or begging for business from somebody that clearly doesn't see the benefit of working with me. Right. But that all comes from having choice, Rick. And the more choice you generate, the more realistic that is. The less choice you generate, the more you're in a position to take whoever comes along. And that's when we have to start, that's when we're in a position where anybody on the phone, you've got to beg and plead and try to figure out how to handle every little objection. And that's what winds up happening. And you do not want to be in that position. So it's funny how the lead generation and the follow-up process are tied together. Yep. You will be so much better and more effective with follow-up when you have a good lead generation system. Rick, why don't we start the role play session here, and we'll use our time remaining here to do as many role plays as possible.
Sounds good.
If you haven't done so already, go ahead and type in the chat box that you'd like to role play, or click the hand icon that you see on your control panel. You must have a working mic or be on the telephone. We do recommend being on the telephone for best audio quality. Our first guest is Krista Placio. Your mic is now open.
Hi, James. Hi, Rick.
Hi,
good morning.
Hi, Krista.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. So I want to do role play for buyer script.
Okay, for buyer. All right. So I will be a prospect here. Ring, ring. Hello.
Hi, is James there?
Yeah, this is James.
Hi, James. This is Krista with the Christine Stampini team over Remax Services. And the reason I'm calling is because I received your request for the information you wanted, and we have sent it in the email to you. Is that okay, James?
What information was that?
Oh, the information from 123 Main Street that you have inquired,
yeah.
So we already sent it to you. Would that be okay?
Yeah, that's great. Thanks a lot. Hey, do you know anything about that property?
Yeah, it is 12,000 square footage. And are you folks planning on making a move within 3 to 6 months?
We're thinking about it. Yeah, we're just looking around. What are the? Do you happen to know? Is that a double car garage?
Let me check. Oh yeah, it is. It is a double car garage. James, do you currently rent or do you own your own home?
No, we own.
You own your own home. Okay. Would you prefer to buy before listing your home, or do you want to sell it first?
Yeah, no. We're looking around. We're looking for something suitable, and when we find something that we like, then we'll go from there.
Okay. Well, you can still use the website for looking. Are you planning on staying in the area or moving out of the area, James?
No, we're staying in the area.
Okay. And if you were to move, when do you think that might be? Do you have any time frame?
As soon as we find the perfect home.
Okay, we're trying our best. Do you have a realtor to help you with that when the time is right?
Yeah, well, I've got a couple. Yeah, I have a couple agents that that have shown me a couple properties and sent me some properties as well.
Okay, but you haven't signed anything yet from those realtors, right?
I haven't signed anything. Like what?
The loyalty agreement, for example.
Oh, I'm not going to sign I'm not going to sign any kind of loyalty agreement. Yeah, we're just going to go. We're going to go with whatever agent finds us the property.
Okay. Well, James, would you like us to email you daily updates of homes that match your home buying criteria from all the real estate companies? So our list includes any bank foreclosures, company-owned properties, or other distressed sales, and it's a free service. And of course, you were never obligated to buy a home. Would that interest you?
Yeah, no, absolutely. These are not the same properties as I would be getting from the other agents. I guess you don't know that, do you?
Actually, we have our own listing, and some of our listing includes that is not in the MLS. So it's like a special listing that we have. So
yeah, that's
okay. By the way, James, when we can get together for about 20 minutes so we can take down exactly what you're looking for, our days or evenings would be good for you?
Evenings are fine. I did outline on your website a little while back some information there. I could tell you over the phone.
Oh,
if you like.
Okay. Well, James, that is very good. However, it's very important that we do an accurate job for you to get exactly what you're looking for, so that what we find is that sitting down for you for about like 10 to 15 minutes, we can save you hours of time throughout the process. And remember, this is absolutely free. You are never obligated to buy, and we're very flexible. So what's good for you? Days
yeah, we can
or
do it
evening?
Evening. Any evening is fine.
Okay. Let's do it tomorrow evening, if that would be good for you.
Yeah, tomorrow evening is fine. It'll have to be early in the evening.
Okay. Do you have any time?
And then we set up an appointment in the evening. Okay, so that's good. Okay, now a couple things here. First of all, Craig would strongly dissuade you from talking about have you signed anything. Okay. Don't bring up the idea of signing something, because now you know what I'm thinking you're going to ask me to do? I'm thinking that you're going to ask me to sign something, and you don't want to talk about signing anything over the phone. The only reason you don't want to talk about signing something over the phone is because you haven't given me a reason to want to sign something. It's not that, oh, never let them know. It's that it's always benefit first, then commitment. The commitment is signing something. But the benefit must come first. Now, the problem with over the phone is we've had no opportunity to share the benefit of the commitment, the benefit of signing. That's what the appointment is for. So don't bring up, have you signed anything? Because look what happened. Sign what? An exclusive contract. And now I'm on edge. Now I'm on guard. What if I said this? Hey, you're not going to make me sign one of those agreements, right? Because I won't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And now you try to book the appointment with me, and I'm thinking, okay, this isn't to get me to sign something, right?
Yes.
You know? So it's unnecessary. Don't bring that up. Okay, now here's one other thing as well that I'd like you to work on, okay? When I say I can tell you what I'm looking for over the phone, don't tell me that that's a good idea. Don't say, yes, that's good, but don't say that. It's not a good idea, okay? It's a bad idea. And make it clear from the very first words that come out of your mouth that doing it over the phone is not an option. I can tell you what I'm looking for over the phone, and you say, oh, okay, yeah, that's good, that's great. But you know what? No, it's not good. It's not great. It's not a good idea to do it that way. And you need to don't make it sound even remotely like it's an alternative to meeting. Do you see what I mean? Okay. Rick, I don't know, Rick, if you heard the same thing as well.
No, heard everything, and I agree 100%. The one thing I want to say here, though, is congratulations on staying close to the script, because that's the first.
Thank you.
And you've heard James say it 100 times on this call. The first level of learning the script is to simply believe that the words on the page will help you. And in this case, they did. they got you the appointment. But we want to be continually working towards the point where we have a conversation with the prospect, and the script just helps us stay on task. So we want to hear you get sort of beyond the reading the words on the page stage and get to a real nice conversational stage with James. And what that means is we listen really carefully to what the other person is saying. And that's what James is saying here. If you listen really carefully, you probably wouldn't have said those things that you did because you're just trying to get through it. So as always, the one thing I always say is just slow down a little bit, listen, have a conversation, control the conversation with the script, and you'll get the appointment 9 times out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah, really good job. And I did try to throw you off. Here's what I want everybody to recognize is that I asked you some questions like, what information was that? Or is that a 2-car garage? And I was trying to throw you off. Here's what I was trying to do. I was trying to see if you would let me lead the conversation with questions. And you did an awesome 10 out of 10 job.
Thank you.
You answered my questions, but you answered them and followed up with a probing question from the script. It's exactly what you want to do. It's exactly what you want to do. Very, very well done. So appreciate you volunteering. Thanks so much, Andrea.
Thank you. Thank you.
Our next guest is Harry Bing. Your mic is now open.
Good morning. I'm mailing out some guaranteed your home sold at a price acceptable to you, guaranteed. I'll pay the difference in cash card. I'm mailing those out the middle of the month as part of my branded, unbranded campaign. And I like to role play a caller that's responding to me from that particular ad.
Well, I will let Rick be your prospect then.
Sounds good. I'm ready. I'm interested.
Okay. Ring, ring.
Hello?
Hello, is Rick in?
This is Rick. Who's this?
Yeah, hello, Rick. This is Harry Bing. I'm calling you back in response to the free report you requested regarding our guaranteed home sale program, and I've sent that information in the mail to you. Hey, look, are you folks planning on making a move in the next 3 to 6 months, or would it be sooner than that or later than that?
Well, we definitely want to sell, but we want to get the best dollar that we can for our house. If we can get the right price, we'll sell.
Fantastic. Hey, if you are to move, are you planning on staying in the area, or are you going to be moving out of the area?
No, we'll stay in the area, but I think my house is worth a lot more now, and I want to get as much for it as I can.
Well, we're excellent. Right now is a good time to go ahead and make that move. So when are you thinking about putting it on the market?
As soon as I understand how much it's worth, and if it's worth what I think it is, we'll put it up for sale.
Okay. Okay, are you looking to buy first or sell first, since you're saying you're going to be staying in the area?
No, I'd have to sell first. I'd have to get my money out and then do something after that.
Okay. Let me ask you this, Rick. On the buy side, do you have a realtor to work with you when you get ready to purchase your new home?
Oh, no, not yet. No.
Okay. And likewise, on the sales side, are you committed to any realtor at this time to help you with getting your home sold?
No. Talked with a few people, but I'm not working with anybody.
Okay. Well, the first thing I really would like to do for you, Rick, is I'd like to give you a free market evaluation to give you an idea of what your home is for. And if we can set an appointment for that when we come over to meet you at the property for that, I'd also like to give you some tips on what you can do to get the house sold for the most money in the least amount of time with the least hassle. And I can also have the title company run you off a net sheet to give you an idea of what the costs are going to be in selling your house. Does that sound like something that you'd be interested in doing?
Yeah, I need to know, but I'm interested to know how that guarantee thing works that you have on that piece of mail that came. How does that work?
Great. Well, you know what? When we come over to discuss the CMA and give you those tips on getting the house set up for the highest price in the least amount of time and least amount of hassle, we can discuss the guaranteed sale plan also. And would evenings or mornings be better for you?
Does my wife need to be here?
Both of you would actually need to be there. That way we don't have any loss of information, and I can answer both of your questions to the fullest degree. I'm available tomorrow evening at 4, or I also have a 6 o'clock appointment. Which one of those will work best for you, Rick?
The the 6 o'clock thing would work fine, but is there something you can send me, like can you email me something that I can read about your guarantee sale thing? I'm just interested to know how that works.
Well, I can go ahead and email you a preliminary overview and outline of it, but I'm looking forward to discussing it in detail with you at 6 o'clock tomorrow evening, and I will be there promptly, and looking forward to meeting both you and your wife. And in addition to that, I'll bring my phone with me, and I get some ideas of what you're looking for in your next home, and I can go ahead and start sending you a list of homes in the area that you're going to move to that fit your particular profile, and that way we can go ahead and get you familiarized with the home buying process as well as assisting you with the home selling process. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow at 6 o'clock, Rick. Is that correct?
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. See you tomorrow at 6.
Great. Hey, pretty good. You know what? It's pretty hard for me as a seller to say no when the reasoning is as logical as that. So I'd say really good job. You're fluent, you were conversational, you maintained control, you stayed close to the script, you brought a benefit to the table at the end there by saying we'll also do the buyer profile. I think that was a really good job. What do you think, James?
Yep. I totally agree. I give you a 10 out of 10. That was absolutely wonderful. You know, I mean, and then this is why, is you understand that every bit of information that a prospect responds to, you're using that information as a reason to determine that prospect's timing and motivation, and ultimately, if it's worthy, to book a face-to-face appointment. And, you know, the truth is this, how does your program work? How does the guarantee sale work? You know what? I've got to see your home. If I'm going to guarantee the sale of your home, I just need to see it, you know, and that just takes away every objection. You know, how it works is I will guarantee the sale of your home, but I need to see your home first before I can make any kind of guarantee. And it just, I mean, there's just no arguing that. Now, here's the rub. You don't want to offer to see every single person you speak to's home because they might not be motivated to sell. And that's what you did such a good job of is you need to first determine their timing and motivation. And if their timing and motivation is what you're looking for, then you book the appointment. And that's exactly what you did. That's I mean, really good job. You know, and you know what I think you're going to find if you haven't already is that converting the leads that come from a branded source is even easier than when they come from a non-branded source. Okay, so in other words, your guarantee has your name on it. It has your picture on it. It's a real estate agent, a real estate company. They're responding to the offer of a realtor who's making a pretty bold offer. You're calling them now. It's kind of like you're the famous agent in the neighborhood or in the marketplace that is making this offer. It makes converting the lead that much easier. I think there's a level of respect that goes with making an offer like that, and now the prospect is on the phone with you. So yeah, really good job. Really good job. Thank you so much for volunteering.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, good job.
Our next guest is James Williams. Your mic is now open.
Hello, James.
Hello, how you guys are?
Good.
We're good.
I would like to do a role play with buyer follow-up call.
Okay, I would love to do that too, but I have to ask you to turn the speaker down on your phone or your computer because it's feeding back.
Okay, is this better?
Let's see.
Much better.
Yeah, that's better. That's better. Yeah, much better. Okay, so ring. Hello.
Hello, is this Mr. James? I'm sorry, I forgot your last name.
That's okay. Yeah, this is James. Who's this?
Hi, this is James Williams from Remax Premier Properties. The reason I'm calling is because I received your request from Zillow.com where you wanted information on 123 Main Street, and I've emailed that information to you. Is that okay? Do you have any questions from the email that I sent you?
Yeah, how long has that property been on the market for?
Actually, it's been on the market only for 2 days. Now, are you planning on making a move in the next 3 to 6 months?
Yeah, if we find the right property, we're hoping to do it within the next 3 to 6 months for sure.
Okay. Do you currently rent or do you own a property already?
Yeah, we're renting right now.
Okay. Are you planning on staying in the area or moving out of the area?
We're open to several different neighborhoods, but we're not going to stray too far.
Okay. If you were to move, when do you think that might be?
Within the next 3 to 6 months. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a realtor to help you when the time is right?
Well, my wife knows a realtor, not that well. But other than that, I mean, no, we don't really know a realtor. We hadn't thought of that.
Okay. Well, would you like me to email you daily updates of homes that match your home buying criteria from all of the real estate companies in the area? Our list includes, any regular sale properties, bank foreclosures, REO properties, or other distressed sales. It's a free service, and of course, you're never obligated to buy a home. Would that interest you?
Yeah, so these are kind of like the special deals.
Well, they're the homes that are available on the market currently. When would be a great time for you and your wife to come to my office and meet with me for only about 20 minutes so we could take a look at what's actively on the market?
Well, aren't you going to send me what's actively on the market?
Well, I prefer to sit down with you in the office where we look, together at the computer, and I have a special form where I fill out and get your likes and dislikes. Would you guys be available days, evenings, or mornings, perhaps?
Yeah, maybe. My wife is going to be home in probably about half an hour, so I better discuss it with her, make sure it's something that she wants to do, and then find out what time she's available, and then we can do it that way.
Okay, when would be the best time to give you a call back to follow up after you've had a chance to speak with her?
You call me back in a couple hours.
Okay, nice speaking with you, and I'll call you back. Thank you.
Okay. All right, now you did a couple of things incorrectly. First of all, turn down your speaker. I can still hear myself. I'm officially insane.
Okay.
All right, there we go. Okay. No. Andrea, can you mute the mic?
I just muted James.
Yeah, can't take it anymore. Okay. Yeah, when you're calling in to do a role play, please, if you have your speakers, it won't work. If we hear ourselves through the speaker, then there's a delay and there's an echo, and it just doesn't work. So try to remember that when you're doing the role play, turn the speakers all the way down. Okay, now here's where I was going with that. First of all, your issue is in how you book the appointment. The way you make the offer is very good. You make the offer, you talk about the great deals in the marketplace, you talk about having access to this. Where you need to spend a little bit of time focusing is on the appointment. Okay? The reason you need to get together with my wife and I for this appointment is so that you can accurately determine what we're looking for. And if I can do a good job of understanding exactly what it is you're looking for, then rather than send you hundreds of properties every day or miss out on the best property, we can do an accurate job of only providing you with the very best properties as they come on the market. And it's free, which you did not say. It's free, and there's no obligation to buy a home. When would be a good time for you? What would you prefer? Something during the day, in the evenings? Here's the thing. If it sounds like what you want to do is sit in front of your computer and look at properties, that's not compelling. That's not a compelling reason to come and meet with you. The reason that I would meet with you is because you're setting me up on a system whereby every single day as properties come on the market, you're going to be emailing them to me immediately upon those properties being available. And the properties specifically that you're emailing me are the very best, hottest deals that match my criteria. Now, in order to do that, I need to know what your criteria is. And I need to know what it is in detail so that I can do a good, accurate job. But it's free. So I'm not charging you any money. I'm not obligating you to buy anything. But we do need to sit down and do a good job of determining that criteria. I'm flexible. What's good for you? Think logically about that. The prospect would say, well, I do want what you're offering me. I do see the value in what you're offering me. It would be helpful to me. And it sure sounds reasonable as to why you want to sit down with me, and there's no cost to it. Yeah, evenings are fine. This is why Rick says booking 9 out of 10 of the prospects to appointments, it is easy, but you just have to arrive at, it's the details. Once those details are all filled in and it becomes part of your everyday vocabulary, it's automatic. Booking the appointments is easy, but there's a big difference between what I've said and, you know what, your wife and I, we can all gather around my computer, and I like to look at properties together with you. No, that's not the offer. That is not why I'm going to take time out of my day to come to you to gather around your computer to look at properties. It's not compelling, and prospects will push back, and they'll say things like, I need to talk to my wife first. By the way, that's called the brush off. I do not need to talk to my wife first to book an appointment with you. If what you're offering me is valuable enough, I can book the appointment, and you know what? If it doesn't work out, then we can always reschedule it. But just bear that in mind. And by the way, that's the other thing that I was going to mention is this. When you do get an objection like that, if it's sincere, you know, my wife left to go and drop the kids off at school, and she'll be back in, you know, half an hour. If that is a sincere objection, why don't you book a tentative appointment? You know, let's book a tentative appointment, and then, you know, in half an hour or so, if your wife comes home and says, oh, no, I'm not available then just give me a call back and we can reschedule. But if the time works out, then we'll pencil it in, and we'll see what would likely be better. Evenings, something during the day, what would be best? So a few things there that you need to work on. However, the whole reason that you're volunteering to do role playing is so that we can listen to what you're saying and we can determine what those little details are. So I'm not picking you apart. I'm saying, you know what? You covered about 10 different things in that script.
Yeah.
There are two of those 10 things that you need to work on. The other 8 are perfect, you know. So this is good. Unfortunately, the chain is only as strong as the weakest link. So those 2 out of 10 things can cause you not to get the result that you're looking for. I'm very
James,
glad
let me
you
just,
volunteered. Please.
if I could just add something here. One thing in the introduction, James, I just want to mention.
Yep.
You asked the prospect, do you have any questions about the property I've sent you?
Yeah, that was.
And I was just scanning back over the universal callback script to see if we've added that, and we haven't. So I'm just kidding. Here's why I wouldn't do that. One of the things the universal callback script allows us to do very well is maintain control of the conversation. Throwing that question into the introduction is probably going to have you giving up a good measure of control at the wrong time, the start of the conversation. So the introduction's really clear. Hi, James. It's Rick Brash with Keller Williams. The reason for my call is earlier today you visited my website. You requested some information on a property we have listed. I'm just calling to let you know we sent that. By the way, is a move something you're working on in the next couple of months? That's the best way to use the introduction. That's the way Craig taught me to use the introduction. It will get you into that controlled conversation every single time.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. You know, the introduction frames the call. It frames everything. So it may just look like, oh, this is just you know, pleasantries being exchanged here. It is not. The introduction is critical.
Right.
Okay, Andrea, let's see who's next, and we'll let Rick do the next role play here.
Our next guest is Philip Doyen. Your mic is now open.
Hello,
Hi,
hello. Can anybody hear me?
We can hear you. How are you?
Oh, I'm great. Thank you, guys. Thanks to this system, everything's working out fine.
Good.
So I guess I'd be ready for a follow-up call for an editorial ad.
All right. Buyer or seller?
Seller.
Okay. Go for it. Ring, ring. Hello?
Hello, may I speak with Mr. Brash, please?
This is him?
Yeah, Mr. Brash, this is Philippe with Groupe Mackay. I'm calling in regard of your request for information on the 27 seller tips and improvements. I just wanted to let you know that the report has been sent out in the mail. Is that okay?
Oh, that's That's great. That's that web page thing I was on, right?
No, actually, it was in the newspaper.
Oh, yeah, right. Oh, I made that phone call, right? I listened to some script.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay, that's great. Thank you.
Were you thinking of making a move in the next 3 to 6 months, Mr. Brash?
Yeah, there's been a little change in life here, so we're going to have to sell the house.
And if you were to move, would you be staying local or moving out of the area?
No, we'll be staying local.
And when do you think that might be?
Well, it's kind of up in the air right now. I'm just waiting to hear back from my lawyer, but it'll be soon.
And do you have a realtor to help you when the time is right?
I don't have one. One has been suggested to me, but I haven't spoken with that person yet.
Okay. And would you prefer to buy before listing your home, or do you want to sell first?
No, I have to sell first before I can do anything.
And would you like a free market evaluation to determine how much your home would sell for? I could also give you tips on what to do and what not to do to sell your home for the most amount of money. And while we're there, we could go over all the various closing costs that you will incur, so you will know exactly how much you'll have left in your pocket after all the expenses. Does that sound helpful?
Yeah, I really need that, to tell you the truth. Could we kind of do this on the sly? Can you and I just do this together without my wife being involved?
Is this a divorce?
Yeah, it kind of is.
Oh, it's okay. Well, actually, there's a report that maybe you should have that I could bring with me, and we could look at your house, and I could give you those tips. Would you prefer days or evenings?
Would you have to come here?
To have a look at the house? Yeah, I think so.
Okay, it would have to be in the evening, but I'll just have to figure out an evening for you.
Yeah, would you prefer tonight or tomorrow?
Like I say, I'll have to figure out the right evening. It's just a little touch and go here. Can I call you back when I get the evening figured out?
How about we take a tentative appointment? If it doesn't work out for you, you can give me a call.
Oh, that would be great. Okay.
So let's
Well,
set it up.
why don't we say tomorrow night? But if I can get your phone number and that doesn't work out, I'll give you a call.
Okay. Would you prefer around 7 or around 9?
Oh no, 7 would be good.
Okay. So do you have a pen to write down my phone number?
Yep.
Okay. So the phone number is 1234567, and I'll see you tomorrow at 7. If you don't call.
And what was your name again?
It's Philippe.
Okay, Philip. I'm good. Okay, we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Pretty good. Now, same old story. I tried to throw you off, and I hope everybody listened that the tone of Philip's voice didn't change much. It's hard to throw him off. He had a mission in mind, and the mission was to get the listing appointment. And by the way, let's not be naive here. We all know that coming over to do an evaluation is just that. That's just code language for we're coming over to do a listing appointment. And I just tried to throw something different into the conversation just to see how Philip would react. And I would say, Philip, you did a pretty good job. You were even-tempered. You stayed articulate. You even brought a little bit more value to the table when you sort of figured out that I'm going through a divorce, and you offered to bring over some further information about the divorce, the divorce process and real estate. So I think you did a pretty good job. And in that situation, there's not really much else you can do that. It's obviously a tough one. The appointment time is a little bit tenuous because I've got to figure out when the wife I'm divorcing isn't going to be here. So together we've got to work on that. So I think you did a good job. If you can do that over and over again, I think you'll get appointments. James, what do you think?
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, no, everything you said. And Philip, you've been doing this a long time. And you're I mean, I don't know, you probably made hundreds of these calls. You're excellent and always getting better. So nothing surprising, but I appreciate sort of highlighting or showcasing to everybody on the webinar, how well versed you can become with this script. So thank you.
Craig and Colleen Bush, your mic is open.
Hello.
Craig and Colleen?
Oh, good morning.
It could be Peter.
It is.
Okay, go ahead.
How is everyone this morning?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome as usual.
Awesome.
Well,
awesome.
you know, I do love to role play. I was thinking I was going to give some other people an opportunity, but since no one stepped up from the plate, here I am. So let's
there
do
you
a
go.
role play about distressed properties. It's
Okay.
someone's indicated online that they're interested in distressed properties in Hamilton.
Okay, excellent. All right, so ring. Hello?
Hello, James.
Yeah, this is James. Who's this?
Hi, James. This is Peter. I'm calling you from the Bush team at REMAX, and the reason I'm giving you a call is I'm responding to your request for information about distressed properties in West Hamilton. And so I want to let you know that we're preparing to send it out to you shortly. Is that okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Well, good. Are you planning on making a move in the next 3 to 6 months?
No, I'm not. I'm just looking for my my daughter and her friend. Actually, they're going to school, and you know, I was thinking of buying a place as an investment property for the next few years. Saw your ad and thought, let's see what you got.
Okay, so they're presently going to school at MAC?
Yes, they're going into second year next year, and they want to, you know, I want them to get out of the dorms, and yeah, and I've thought about buying an investment property, and you know, but having tenants and all that was kind of something that I wasn't really thinking was up my alley, but this might be a great opportunity to do that. So anyway, it's sort of food for thought right now, but that was what motivated me to look and respond to your ad.
Okay. James, if you found the perfect property, how soon do you think you'd be able to take action and potentially purchase it?
Immediately. If I found the perfect property, I would immediately move on it.
Okay.
Now the question is, what is the perfect property? And you know, what makes it the perfect property, and that's sort of where we're at right now.
Okay. Now, do you have a realtor to help you when you find that property?
No, we don't have a realtor. No, I don't know anyone in Hamilton.
Well, I'm going to suggest a couple things, James, that would be very helpful for you. But first of all, let me ask, would you like me to email you daily updates? That's as soon as these properties come onto the market, that meet your criteria, we can send them to you immediately from all real estate companies, and it would include any bank foreclosures, company-owned properties, other distress sales. It is a free service, and of course, you'd never be obligated to purchase a property. Would that interest you?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that would be great. I mean, I've been combing the internet, and you know, I don't go on every day, but between myself and my daughter, you know, we're trying to look as best we can every day to see what comes up, what comes available. So, yeah, I mean, that would be sure helpful.
Well, this will really save you a lot of time, James. And what I'm going to suggest is that if we could get together for about 15 or 20 minutes, then we can talk about it and help you, you know, process what would be the perfect property, because there's different options available. But meeting together would enable me to help you the best way I know how, and there'd be no cost or obligation. So our schedule is quite flexible. You know, days, evenings, or weekends, which would be the most convenient for you?
Well, it'll have to be a weekend. We're in Aurora, so now, having said that, my daughter is there, so she could meet you and give you an idea. Maybe, I don't know, you guys can conference call me in if you wanted to do that, or we could wait until, I'm not coming this weekend, but I could certainly come next weekend, and we could wait and we could schedule something for then. That's sort of where we're at. Those are the options.
Well, it would be to your greatest advantage, James, for us to meet with both yourself and your daughter. So let's look at next Saturday, and so next week. And so what would be better, in the morning or in the afternoon for you?
Yeah, no, in the morning. Let's call it any time after 10 a.m.
Well, your choice. Which time?
10 a.m. is fine.
10 a.m., that's good. And so I will look forward to meeting you and your daughter at that time. I'll send you an email confirming those details. And if there's any issue that you need to reschedule, just contact me and we can facilitate that change. How does that sound?
Awesome. Sounds perfect. Okay. First of all, really like that one. And that was kind of something a little bit different, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Although maybe, maybe with, with McMaster being there, maybe that's not that different. I mean, this is not unheard of. And I was loosely basing that role play on a real situation. But here's what I want you to consider doing, okay? When it's a situation where you have to book the appointment a little bit further away, and it wasn't that I was trying to put you off. I mean, I live in Aurora. I'm not coming to Hamilton this weekend. I have no plans to come to Hamilton, and I have other obligations, so that's out of the question. You can either meet only with my daughter, which you don't want to do because my daughter is not the decision maker ultimately. So that's out of the question. You don't want to do it over the phone because the likeliness is if you do it over the phone, you're not going to get me to sign any kind of contract. So your best option, the one that you went with, was, well, let's do it next weekend. We'll do it on Saturday at 10 o'clock, and we'll come and meet with you, and we'll do it at that time. Now, here's what I want you to do in those circumstances where we're talking about 8 days before the appointment, is this. I want you to use these words. I want you to say to them, I'll send you a confirmation email, but what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to spend a little bit of time. I'm going to give you a little bit of homework to do, and I just want you and your daughter to consider in as much detail as you can think all of the elements in the property that you're looking for. I want you to think of all the things that are extremely important, moderately important, not important at all, anything that you definitely don't want in the property. The more knowledge I have of what you're looking for and what you definitely don't want, the better job we'll be able to do next Saturday when we get together. Here's why I'm doing this. And Rick, I want to get your take on this. The reason that we're doing this is because we want the focus of the appointment to be on the benefit of the appointment. And over the course of 8 days, the benefit of the appointment can slip away from the prospect's mind. And it starts to become, I'm meeting with a real estate agent, a salesperson, I must be crazy. And all of a sudden, they become elusive, they don't show up, they cancel, because what happens is the benefit of the appointment got lost somewhere along the lines, and it became, I must be out of my mind, I'm meeting with a salesperson. So here's how you make sure they remember there is a reason for this appointment. The reason for this appointment is it's very benefit rich. And so by giving them that little bit of homework, it keeps the focus on that benefit because you need to keep the focus for 8 days before that appointment happens. Okay, so it's a pretty simple thing to say, but I believe it reiterates the reason for the appointment and gives them a little bit of something concrete, comprehensive that they can do to better prepare for it.
Yep, that's a great idea.
Okay, I wouldn't do that with somebody that you're meeting with, in 24 hours, but certainly we're talking about 8 days. I'll tell you right now, sometime between now and 8 days, they're going to start to get cold feet and forget why they're meeting with a real estate agent.
Now, in your experience, James, because I know, before I was doing this system, if I had an appointment, I would not actually go to that appointment unless I, spoke to the person just before to confirm that they're coming. But with what we're doing, when we set up an appointment, whether it's, the next day or, next weekend, we always would tell them, put the onus that if, they need to reschedule to contact us. But
right.
What we would do is send the email. Plus, if we didn't get them, we'd leave a message. And then so you have the no-shows, And
yeah,
so, would you make a requirement of the appointment that they also confirm that they're coming?
No, because if they don't, does that mean that it's okay that to do nothing means it's okay that I don't show up? See, here's the easiest way to answer that question. We always base what we're going to do on the rule, not the exception. Right. In other words, if doing it the way you're doing it causes everybody to not show up, then you better not do it that way anymore because it ain't working. But if doing it the way you're doing it the overwhelming majority, the rule is the appointments actually happen, then don't fix what isn't broken. Leave it alone. Now, here's what we discovered at Craig's office, booking hundreds of these appointments for Craig and the outside salespeople, is that when we made it clear that we had to confirm the appointment and we didn't reach them, what it was doing was giving them permission to not show up for the appointment. So we didn't do that. What we found was when we booked the appointment within 24 to 48 hours of speaking to them, 9 times out of 10 or more, the appointment actually happened. So why would we want to ruin a 9 out of 10 success rate? We didn't. It's not broken. We're not fixing it. We booked the appointment. The appointment is within 24 to 48 hours. 9 out of 10 likeliness that appointment is actually going to happen and take place. We don't need to do anything further. However, when we couldn't book an appointment within 24 to 48 hours, and when we had to book it further out, that's when you run into problems. So one of the things that I discovered was if you can give them a little bit of homework and focus on the benefit of the appointment, as I've demonstrated with you, it makes it more likely that the appointment, even though the appointment's far away, that it actually happened. But we're still not going to call and demand that they confirm it, because then if we don't hear from them, what does that mean? Does it mean they're definitely not coming? Could they be in the car? Could they just not have gotten the message? I mean, it's just it's not something that we found was required.
Okay, thank you very much.
Rick, what's your system?
Well, this one's not overly unique. I live in a city where people travel to go to school, and I've had this conversation with parents before, parents from all over Canada. And, here's something you might want to think about. And I'm not trying to rain on the parade here, but when James said that my daughter is already there, and, I might go out on a limb and I might make an arrangement for the daughter to come in and sort of initiate the relationship and find out what exactly she's looking for. Now, if I decided to do that, knowing full well that she's not buying, that she's not writing the check, that she's not
and also doing a little bit of math and figuring out that she's maybe 18 or 19 years old,
right?
And that's creepy.
But I think too, I can also plant a seed.
No offense, Rick.
I can plant a seed with her that she will then send back to her dad, and even before I've met the dad, I can probably endear myself to him. That might be a consideration. I personally, I wouldn't rule that out. And James, it has nothing to do with the fact she's 18 in the university. It has something to do with the fact that I just want to forge the relationship with the father. So I think the decision is going to come based on the conversation. Personally, I think this was a great one. I think he handled it very professionally.
Me too.
James is right. I wouldn't confirm the appointment because there's permission granted to cancel the appointment. But I think he did a really good job. And the other thing I'm going to make note of here for everybody is, did you notice the speed of the speech and the tonality? Okay, this is what we call very good articulation and a very good presentation of the benefits of getting together. And everybody needs to listen and hear that. It's so crucial in a conversation that the person you're speaking with understands what you're saying. And remember, you're on a telephone. It might not be the best connection. They might be on a cell phone. It's coming and going. If you speak really fast, if you don't articulate your words, if you're not careful, they won't get the meaning of what you're saying. So very, very good job in that department.
Yeah, I agree. You've got, absolutely perfect, phone tonality. Really, really, really good. What's funny? You sound like Craig Bush, who, I know you're Peter and you're part of Craig Bush's team, but it's funny how much Craig Bush has the same tonality and sort of cadence to his speech. He's very calm and precise, and it's ideal for what we're doing over the phone.
Yep.
Absolutely ideal.
Yep.
So anyway, appreciate that.
Gary Sensor, your computer mic is open. Turn on your speakers.
Hi, Gary.
Hey, I didn't realize you had selected me. Can you hear me?
It's you. You're on the con, my friend.
All right.
Buyer or seller? What do you want to do?
I want to do a seller role play. I've been doing a series of editorial ads, and I've been getting good responses, about 7 a week. So I've done it for 2 weeks. I've made 14 calls, and all of the people, with the exception of 2, because I've checked the tax records, are widowed, and all of them are older people. And so it's, I don't know. When I say older, I mean probably in the high 70s, 80s, and I'm having a hard time keep getting through the script. They have the television loud. They have people there. They have it's just I don't know if it's just attention, or I honestly believe they're scared. The moment I call, I can detect some fear in their voice. It's a little strange. So
okay, so what you're telling us then is that, number one, your editorial ad is creating leads, and number two, you're creating the leads the rest of us are creating as well. So well done. Congratulations.
Thank you. Okay.
Hey, here's what I like about this story you've just told me. The people who are contacting you for information are the people with equity. I have
absolutely. The most recent property buy, believe it or not, was 2002.
Beautiful.
So some of them bought the
so before we get into this, let's make sure we're clear on what you've done. You've loaded up your pipeline with prospective sellers. Now, when you go back into the call deck, into the coaching website, everybody should be doing this. And James is smiling because he knows what I'm talking about. Call number 5. It's called Why Follow-Up is Everything. Everybody should download that call, burn it to a thumb drive or burn it to a CD, and continue to review that call every quarter of the year. Guys, I'm telling you right now, the money in this business, the fortune is in the follow-up. So Gary, you're creating a pipeline of people who've identified themselves as probably selling. All we have to do is stay in contact with them, use the universal callback script, and you're setting yourself up for a really nice year of listings. That's what you need to do here. And even if you don't get them today, even if they aren't ready to list with you today, you have some great tools at your disposal. You have a newsletter that keeps them in touch with your hotline and your website. You have access to the Gold Prospect Plan, which gives them something every week or every 2 weeks of complete and utter value to the selling process. So what you've done with your editorial, my friend, is you've set yourself up to use all those tools effectively in the way they were designed and to list properties for the spring market.
I've just recently set up Top Producer, and I'm just trying to figure out how to use it well. I want to set up a drip system. I remember James or Craig saying that the now business was like about 20% of business, and the later business was about 80%.
Correct.
And, that's exactly what I was going to suggest to you. Is exactly that. Here's your opportunity with this particular segment of leads. Is the luxury you have is that you have time to establish yourself as their agent. And the way you're going to do that is very, very carefully. You're going to begin by calling and introducing yourself, and then it's going to be exactly that, a drip campaign of information to them coming from you, along with follow-up calls just to say hi, following up around the information that you're sending. Here's what you're really doing. You are, over the course of time, you're establishing trust. And they don't know of any other real estate agent. I mean, you're the only agent that they've identified themselves to. So you have the time, without any other agents really competing with you, because they haven't responded to other ads. They responded to an editorial style ad. That means they didn't respond to a real estate agent. They responded to information. Right. So all of the other real estate agents who are offering themselves, they didn't respond to an ad like that. They responded to information. That's how we know that we're the only agent that is likely aware that Ethel is planning on selling her home. Now, I was really looking forward to Rick playing the role of the 90-year-old widow. And I'd be very disappointed if that doesn't happen this morning.
Now James, you got to admit that takes talent to be interested in the 18-year-old school university girl, and now to go to the 90-year-old. Now, come on.
Wow, you are, yeah.
That's why you guys keep me around. Now I know.
So much I could say about that, but this webinar is being recorded. So.
Okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. James, don't laugh.
Okay, I can't wait, and I cannot promise that. All right.
Okay, ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, this is Mrs. Smith.
Well, this is Mr. Smith.
Mr. Smith, is Mrs. Smith there?
No, I'm afraid she's not.
Well, you know, Mr. Smith, the reason I'm calling, my name is Gary Sensor, I'm with Shorewood Realtors, is because I received a request from Mrs. Smith about some information that she wanted on our 9-step program to get your home sold as quick as possible for the most amount of money. And I'm just about to pop that into mail for you. Is that okay?
Oh, sure. Thank you.
Yeah, hey, by the way, are you folks planning on making a move in the next 3 to 6 months?
It's a lot of work, but we might have to sell the house.
Well, if you were to move, have you given any thought to whether you would stay in the area, or do you think you'd be moving out of the area?
No, I think we're going to move in with my son.
Okay. Any idea when that might be? Have you set up a time frame for that?
No, not really. We're just trying to understand the whole process.
Sure, I'm sure it's a lot to think through. Do you have a?
Are you a realtor?
Well, I was just going to ask you. Yes, I am. As a matter of fact, do you have a realtor that you work with when the time is right?
How much do you charge?
Well, you know, it varies. What I'd like to do is to have an opportunity to talk to you in person and kind of go over that. And, you know, maybe we could do some other things that, you know, free of charge, no obligation, that could really be useful to you, like a free market evaluation of your home just to determine what it might sell for. And, you know, as we go through it, at the same time, I can give you tips on what to do and what not to do to sell your home for the most amount of money as quickly as possible. And, you know, there's always the, you know, the closing costs. It would probably help if we got a net sheet and we went over exactly what the costs are that you'll be incurring and what you'll have left in your pocket after expenses.
Oh, my, oh, my. I'll need to talk to my wife about this first.
Well, that sounds good. You know what you might want to do? What if we set up a tentative appointment, and if she's there, you know, and is good with it, then, you know, we can keep it, and if not, you can call me back and cancel. Again, it's free and there's no obligation.
What's your phone number, and I'll call you back?
My phone number is 310-555-1212. But why don't I give you a call?
Okay, thanks. I'll call you back after I've talked to her.
And can we set up a tentative meeting?
For what?
For any time, afternoons or evenings, mornings?
I'll talk to my wife first, and we'll get back to you.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. How did I do, James?
Pretty convincing, Rick.
It usually, Rick, that happens quicker into the script.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. You know what? And I think you know what needs to happen when that happens is immediately you need to stop pushing for the appointment. You know what you need to do is you absolutely have to treat this as a series of baby steps. You know, it's almost like the CNS type personality where you're going to get a lot better results if you are the one that suggests that I send some information, and is it okay if I follow up with you once you've had a chance to read the information that I'd like to send to you? If you're the one that suggests it, that's even better. Then instead, you're the one pushing for the appointment, and all they're doing is pulling back. You know, it's going to once once they've decided you make them uncomfortable, it's really hard to bring that back again.
Yep.
You know? So, right. So as soon as you identify that there's this, you know, this is a long-term prospect. They responded to an editorial ad. So you know you've got a little time. You know that they're very likely not identifying themselves to other agents. You have the ability to be able to say, as soon as you sense this, hey, Rick, I got an idea. I'm going to send you some information. Not only the information that your wife requested, but also I've got some other information about other properties that have sold in the area, and I'm going to send you that too. Would that be okay if I were to send you that information, Rick?
Okay, that would be
now
great.
I'm certain that's okay. And Rick, once you've had a chance to read it all and look at it, would it be okay if I gave you a call to see if you had any questions about it, or if there was anything else I could send you? Would it be okay if I followed up with you at a convenient time for you and your wife?
Oh, yes, please.
Okay, and now I have permission to call them back.
Yeah, question
And
6.
I'm gonna do it this way. I'm gonna make you feel really comfortable with me, because I know that if I don't, this is never gonna happen. Now, here's something else I was honestly thinking the whole time as well. It might not be a terrible idea at some point to say, hey, Rick, you mentioned that you were moving in with your son. Is your son helping you with this at all?
Huh. Good point.
Because I'll tell you what, if the son is 50 years old, it isn't out of the question that they may be the primary decision maker here. And you're going to spend all of this time, with Rick, and meanwhile, the son is going to say, after you making 15 phone calls to Rick, the son is going to say, oh, no, I already have another agent. Yeah, I mean, dad's crazy. Don't worry about him, or whatever, So remember that. We're always looking to figure out who the decision maker is. As soon as you said, well, we're moving in with my son, it gave me that inkling of I might bring him into the conversation and just probe a little bit about that. Otherwise, yeah, if you spend too much time with that person that isn't going to be the decision maker, you could be wasting your time.
Yeah, and that's true. So the classic fallback for someone who's confused is the S objection. Now, everybody think this through. Now, I try to come across as a screaming S personality. And how do you know? How do you know a personality is S? Generally, the conversation from the prospect is predicated with a little bit of fear. Okay, when you hear fear in someone's voice, fear of the unknown, fear of moving forward, fear of the questions, that's generally the S pushback. The way you fix that, the way you get around that, is by simply letting the prospect see themselves working with the solution to their query. That sounds really complicated. James hit the nail on the head. I'm going to send you some other information so you can understand what's going on. That's the classic way to deal with the S personality. Let the S see themselves in the end game, and you usually gain their trust. And that's what you want to do here. And it's hard. That's a hard person to deal with. But like I said at the outset, now you've got somebody in your pipeline, and this is a person you can probably work on for the spring market.
Well, that's really, really helpful, because the ad runs today, and I'm, God willing, I'll get probably 2 or 3. The first day you get a lot, so I won't make the same mistake anymore.
Gary, could you do us a favor? Could you just repeat that again? You're running the editorial when?
I'm running the editorial. Will run again in the local newspaper today.
Good.
It's a free paper that's delivered to 44,000 folks who live in the primary marketing area.
So, Gary, can I just ask you, why did you choose that paper?
It's the dominant vehicle to reach the people in the South Bay, and it's reasonable. The editorial ad's $250.
So it's reasonable price. It's the paper we recommend, and what's going to happen over the next couple of days?
I'm going to get better at not creating fear, but to let them visualize themselves in the process, which is more information. That's what they want.
Okay, Gary, I'm just having a little bit of fun with you here, but the reason you're running this ad again and again is why? It's generating leads.
It works great.
It works.
It's funny. my business partner Stan and I have tried and tried. I mean, everything from Craigslist to postcards to classified, and I've tried Google. Google pay-per-click here is so expensive to have a presence on Google.
And what you've done is you've come back to the editorial, and you're running it because it's working well in your marketplace. And interesting, James, isn't this interesting? We'll talk more about this tomorrow. Print media in a market like where you are, Gary, is working. So good for you. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep generating the leads, and that's the conversation to have with those leads when they come in. Well done, Gary.
Thank you very much, Rick.
Hey, Gary, let me ask you, speaking of your editorial ad, when it does come out, take a picture of the page that the ad ran on and upload it to the Ad Clinic file. Or email it to me.
I will. I'll have it there this afternoon. It should be available around noon here.
And you know what I might even suggest too is a couple things. Okay, first of all, I was going to ask you about the demographics of the publication. 40,000 residents in the South Bay. You know what? I would test some other messages as well, like stuff like this. Avoid these mistakes when moving to a larger home this year. Now, and here's why I'm going to ask you to experiment like that, is you're going to call out to a different demographic when you use a headline that refers to moving up to a larger home. So, you know, if primarily elder folks are responding to the message you're using now, well, they're not going to be moving up to a larger home. So what you'll likely find is the headline is going to call out to a completely different audience. Now, we can always go back to, or in addition to, we can always, you know, go back to the ads that the offers that you're making now, but it would be a worthy test to see if maybe we got a little bit of a different demographic if we made a little bit of a different offer.
I think that's a great idea. Jay Macklin's my coach, and he's got he told me to run the ad. If the first one works, run it again. If it works again, run it once more and see if there's any kind of diminishing returns. And then he himself has an editorial ad running every week, and he alternates them. I think it's 3 times a quarter, 4 times a quarter maybe. So go ahead. I'm sorry, I interrupted.
Yeah, and the other thing I was going to say is this is very often in the marketplace, there are other newspapers, and sometimes there are newspapers geared to a more of like an entertainment base, things to do, restaurants. It still contains community news, but the ads in the local newspaper are very much geared to you know, going out and different things to do in the community, and they tend to be read by a younger demographic.
Yep.
I'm not saying to do that instead. I'm saying at some point to test that kind of a publication in addition to what is already proven to get you results right now. What I'm looking for is this. I don't care if the only thing you ever do are editorial ads to generate sellers. Heck, we could do that all day long. But what I do want is I want different streams of demographics with the kind of sellers that you're generating. So I don't want you to be the you know, the agent that does senior citizen business only. I want it to be that you generate sellers from these editorial ads from various publications, and they represent all kinds of different demographics of sellers coming from the editorial ads. They could be move up buyers looking for move up to a larger home. First, you know, a young couple, you know, everywhere in the spectrum. But that's only going to happen if we diversify a little bit the editorial ads that we're running and where we're running them. So just some food for thought. Here's what the really good news is this. What you're doing right now very likely will always work. It'll always work. You'll find that you'll never stop generating leads from the messages that you're using right now. So you always know that you have that, and that's your go-to. But now in addition to that, let's make some variations. Let's do some testing. Let's see what other publications are available, and let's see what we get.
Okay, will do. I like that idea. A little bit like diversification.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah. So, okay. Well, listen, Rick, thank you so much for participating here. You're going back to the desert, are you, tomorrow?
Yes, sir. Can't wait.
Very good.
Which where all the 90-year-olds are, James. So I'm going to go down there and just fit in.
Yeah, you feel like a young buck. That's good. That is good. And Andrea, I know you're a little under the weather, sweetheart, but you'll get better soon, I'm sure, right?
Yes, I'm sure. Thank you.
Very, very convincing. Very convincing. Thank you so much, everybody, for participating. We'll look forward to seeing you all tomorrow on the webinar. Thanks so much again, and that concludes today's session.
Thank you, James. Thank you, Rick. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Talk to you all tomorrow on the Ad Clinic session.